lost it. So I'm not quite sure what exactly triggered that. Before that, they normally banned out Cursed Hollow, which they seem to be willing to play.
Maybe they hate sand. Did you ever think about that?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe they also just don't like sun. I mean, most of them are coming from the eastern part of Europe or even Sweden up there. I heard it's pretty cold there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anakin Skywalker made a good point. Sand is rough and coerce.
They
You do
ran
not
out of
wanna touch it.
sunscreen.
Exactly. Method with the first ban of the day. Take away Blaze as a first ban. Wow. I think when you think about it on this battleground, makes sense. Strong top laner, sustains by himself. If he has no ganks coming his way, usually he can win a majority of lanes. Also pretty decent for clearing waves. Leftovers will ban Chromie themselves.
And a Nubarak already taken, so trying to be aggressive here. Now, one of the cool things with the Nubarak, of course, is that it can traverse between the lanes a little bit quicker than others. You can always just borrow it to one on the points. But we need that strong solo. Well, there's two different ways, as you already said, how we can play this. You can either do a 2-3 split, you can play with the global, or you can simply try and have a 4-man rotation, also have a 4-man and have a very strong solo laner. So Leftovers is going to show pretty quickly what exactly they have in mind here. But with Chromie banned and also Blaze banned and Nubarak taken as the first pick, we all of a sudden have an amazing amount of heroes that we usually don't see here. We have, for example, Genji still around, Hanzo still around for the draft, Muradin and Greymane are being chosen for Leftovers. Greymane pretty popular with them here too.
Yeah, two tanks that can hold their own for that bottom lane. Nubarak also has really good control around the beacon phase. There's 3 ways to enter. You can go in for a flank on your opponent's side, you have your side entrance, and you also have the middle entrance. But Nubarak controls that very well. First off, he's got a big hitbox, so he's able to just kind of sit there and bodyguard if need be on body block. But secondly, his 2 forms of CC, the Burrow Charge and the Impale, are actually really easy to hit around there. So I actually don't mind the pickup there for Method.
Yeah, and now of course another question is always what are you going to do with the Nubarak? If you go into Cocoon, are you going to try go for one of those blow-up comps? We talked about Li Ming not really being the most dominant hero in any of the HGC regions at this point, but we've seen Shrimpy perform extremely well with him, and if you have a Nubarak to set kills up, they could try and do that. We still have potential Tracer play around Shrimpy. He was definitely the flashy player on the side of Method in most of the games that they played, and especially when they started to step it up here, so we could expect one of those heroes on his side again. Already Gul'dan taken for wave clear, Dehaka for the top, also delivering that global. So an all in all, very solid start and very solid basis for the draft that we see from Method.
Especially when considering this battleground. The Genji ban coming in to make sure that top lane is nice and safe and protected, that Leftovers will eventually pick up. You never want to allow a Genji on this battleground. He has the ability to do 2 things well. 1, getting the top lane has been disgusting, but 2, get perfect defense at level 7 and control that boss, burn it down quickly. It's almost cheesy in how quickly you can take it down. So Genji has now been banned away. Leftovers will not have him. Arthas is the answer back here for Method. Now, other supports to consider on this battleground that might pop up just because of how good they are is Morales and maybe Oriole because of Gul'dan. You want to sustain in that bottom 4-man. You want to be able to edge out your opponent and get a victory so you can take a couple of that beacon points.
Malthael taken off for the top lane. I would still expect... Okay, Malfurion taken. Another choice would have been Uther for them, considering they run Greymane, so Divine Shield into Greymane Engage, or even with Malthael and Tormented Soul would have been an option for them. But now they have Malfurion for the bot lane. Also, of course, has a lot of good points in his favor. It's one of the reasons why he is one of the main healers that we have in Europe and also globally. Uther and Malf, the 2 top picks that we see.
Gives you a bit sustained too. That Uther just a little bit too difficult to pull off on that 4-man unless you are watching those regen gloves. You'll fall behind pretty quickly if you're trading a little bit too much. So
both of them are doing really well. Malfurion sits at a 57% win ratio in Europe. He has 25 wins and 19 losses. And if you look at Uther currently with 24 wins and 15 losses has a 62% win ratio. So very close, the 2 of them. Roughly the same amount of games played and also roughly the same amount of win ratio. Way ahead of any other support that we currently see in Europe. So strong support to be taken here. The lockdown, of course, that you have with the roots after Stormbolt's helping even more. But let's see what Method is drafting here. There's the Tracer again for Shrimpy, as more or less expected and talked about earlier. Lucio for Curson. So yeah, let's see how that's going to work out for them. Can Shrimpy deliver once more?
If you're not going to ban it, we're going to play it. Tracer comes in for Method. Leftovers looking for their final pickup. They have their top lane, they have Muradin for that front line. Do they want to get a little bit more heavy on the front line here? Or will they be electing to get a little more damage? Some wave clear could be nice for them here.
I'm just looking at Tracer and Method, and they have really stepped it up. They won like if you look at the total statistics that they have, it's only a 3-2. 3 wins, 2 losses. Doesn't sound too impressive. But a lot of these losses on Tracer were in the first weekend or the first 2 games that they played. And as we established a bit earlier, that's where they were still struggling quite a bit. It's also where they played their series against Fnatic. And most of the teams, Method included, was talking about how they feel going up against Fnatic again would probably get them a very good shot at taking them down. So since then, they have a very nice track record with Tracer, and that's mainly because Shrimpy has just massively stepped it up and makes these flashy plays. So they try and continue that here. Now, we talked about Li Ming as a potential pick on the side of Method because of a Nuburak and an aggressive setup, but of course it also fits very nicely into the composition of the leftovers, since with this integrate you can just burn the cocoon down very quickly and you have the reset potential as well.
Yep, and if Tracer comes in, uses her Pulse Bomb, you actually aren't too fearful of her, as you can use a Calamity to put some damage on her and make her escape. So not a bad pickup there for leftovers, a little bit more reset heavy. I will say I was expecting maybe a little bit more pizzazz, maybe something a little bit more fishy with leftovers coming to this battleground, but still a good map. Or a good pick for the map.
I mean, I agree, considering that it's the team that first of all, I feel at this point they're not as refined and experienced as other teams yet, and usually when we see that in HGC, then you see a willingness to try something out and to blindside your opponent, throw a bit of a curveball, just to give yourself an advantage through that. They've done that in the past with a Nova pick, for example, so I could have seen them try and pull something along those lines off, especially, as you said, it's Braxis, a map that we don't see too often. If you have a clean cut strategy of what you're trying to do here, then you could surprise an opponent. But maybe this is just the setup that they're trying to run here. Maybe we're going to see some special rotations that they have planned out where they can put the pressure onto Method. Because as Link said in the interview, they are the underdog in this, and they are very well aware of it.
That they are. In terms of laning, Malthael versus Dehaka will be a decent lane for Malthael, be able to hold in, but Dehaka bringing in that global should allow for Method to decide, okay, let's force a fight here. We have Tracer Pulse Bomb ready to go. Let's go to the bottom lane and try to force the scenario to go into our favor so we can grab a Fortitude. So let's watch for that as we move into game number 1. Braxis holdout, the battleground. The first time we see it here in Europe.
Braxis holdout played for the first time in HGC, and that includes Europe, North America, and Korea. We have to the left side leftovers, playing with Blakitney on Greymane, Potiboss on Malthael, Lauber on Muradin, DAB on Li Ming, and Linked on Malfurion.
On the right side, in the red, Method gonna be having Arcaner on Dehaka, Thorough on a Nuburak, Curson on Lucio, Shwimpy playing Tracer, Nick on a Gul'dan, and the one to keep your eye on is Shwimpy on that Tracer.
Yeah, it's also important to notice that we have Malfurion taken by leftovers. We talked about how strong Malfurion is and that he is one of the strongest supports in the European meta. But if you look at leftovers, they only played him once in the past. They usually resort to Rhaegar, which is one of the supports that Link is extremely strong with. And they even drafted Rhaegar super early in drafts, which made it a little bit difficult for them to shut their opponents' drafting ideas down, since they used that early on. So definitely switching away from that in our first game slightly, and we have them with a more so traditional 4-man at the bot lane now on Braxis. Their map pick, first time that we see it here. So let's find out if today leftovers are able to take at least a map win or maybe a bit more against the strong team Method that everybody expects to soon contest the number 2 spot in Europe.
And for me also, I'm also starting to keep an eye on DAB, as Lauber will scout out Tracer and Lucio going for a wide flank to jump in that bottom lane. I've been talking to a lot of teams on the side, and a majority of them, when I ask them about the leftovers, they always circulate and come back to DAB. They feel like he's a really strong assassin player. I'm reminded, kind of not of Poyak in terms of skill, but about how much he's talked about compared to leftovers. So I actually want to see DAB start to shine a little bit. I mean, we did get our first Nova because of him, but I want to see how he does in this Li Ming.
Yeah, most teams seem to be very surprised, and that includes myself actually, that leftovers have such a rough start into HGC Europe, because I didn't really expect them to come out swinging and contest the top 4 spots or anything, but they were not able to pick a single map. That was a bit of a surprise, especially since they were very dominant in Open Division. Now, of course, there is a skill gap between Open Division and the actual HGC environment, where teams are sticking to a much rigorous training environment, training schedule, and also you need some experience to play in these games here. But at the same time, Leftovers were always the team where everybody said, okay, they are one of the more experienced teams making it into HGC, but so far they've been struggling. And Method, of course, is a tough contender to go up against, and with a lot of aggression, we are seeing Method now claiming the second spot here as well. Both of the beacons under the control of the red team.
Yeah, they're allowing Tracer to be pretty freewheeling, moving between the top and the bottom lane. Tracer even feinted as she was going over the top and try and dive Malthael. Thuro deciding, okay, I taking a little bit too much, going to back up and try to work on getting level 4 while Tracer heads to the top. And this is becoming more of a common strategy with Tracer players. They're willing to be in the top lane, be in a 2v1, make your opponent start chasing you around. That's where Tracer and the rest of your composition can thrive if you have communication.
Yeah, what I like from Leftovers, though, is that they started to take a slight leading experience. And it's nothing crazy yet, but it's a nice change from them usually falling behind early on experience because they miss out on lane XP. Might be another reason why they go for the 2-lane map here, but they really broke through the bottom wall already. Nice kill attempt against DAB, and Li Ming goes down as Shrimpy gets the ult in, and Break takes her apart. Job well done. Method already ahead with the beacon progress. Potiboss at the top is currently dominant against Arcana, so that should help him to hold this a bit longer. Linked survives for now, and Blick Kidney trying to go in with Greymane and pressure Shrimpy even more, as Lauba is making his play for the beacon once again. Li Ming already, thanks to the low death timer, on the way back to the fight.
Still a little bit too close for comfort. Link still low on help. Now he has to play careful, afraid of that Tracer maybe coming back in. Speaking of Tracer, she's heading towards the top while Method does their best to control the bottom side. They have to be careful, though. They are getting low on mana. Potiboss is in trouble. Shrimpy continues to move forward, works in some attacks. Potiboss gets away, but he is low.
Yeah, very low here, and a few points taken at least by Leftovers. They're 2% now against the 38. There was one kill that we saw earlier on the side of Method. But still, Leftovers are even in experience. And I said before, it's a nice change. Normally, they miss out on some lane experience. This time, they put the pressure on the wall. They took an early camp. We're trying to push through with it. So they are holding their own for now.
Hopefully for them. Oh, hang on here as Butnicky takes some damage. He gets away just barely. Hopefully for them, hang on, a Thuro comes in. One day I'll get a thought out. Shouldn't be keeping up with the harassment here. That experience lead, slight as it may be, turns into some beacon progress. Right now, Method is winning in that regard, 38% to 2%. As a small smidgen of grabbing was available there for the Leftovers.
Yeah, we have the rotations for Method now focusing heavy onto the top lane, where they can also break, of course, through more structures and set themselves ahead for an early level 7. But Leftovers, they don't engage too fine. They actually do a very nice job of staying alive here, and they are always taking these fights. 5 versus 4 right now, going in, and that could be the kill that they need against the Thuro. The shield comes in. Can they complete it? And indeed they do, and Uberak goes down as Greymane goes in for the last and final blow. Now Method, of course, thanks to the rotation to the top, was alone at the bot lane. Now we see the quick rotations from Leftovers happening to make sure they don't lose out on experience. And the main idea, of course, still remains to grab both of the beacons as long as a Nubarak is down.
Still, that kill was perfect timing. Had it been level 7, a Nubarak would have had a subterranean shield and had been just alive in time with that shield coming in on his burrow charge. So good cleanup by Leftovers, but it did cost them 5 people put in the top, as you pointed out. Finally, with Murden heading to the south side, they're able to get control of the beacon, and a pulse bomb misses, meaning Shrimpy is missing his burst. Oh, a DAB though, he finds a burst.
Yeah, he gets it. And the Haka moved down to the bot lane as Method realizes that this is going to be rough running for them. 82% against 38. And Leftovers immediately go for the camp. I like it. Quick decision making. You see the Haka at the bot lane, you already chase your opponent, you find yourself next to the camp, one hero down, take the camp right away, focus the attention on the top again. They try to go for a Thero, Stomple doesn't connect, so a Thero is able to get out. They need to rotate someone down for experience. That should be Malthael, he's already on his way. But Leftovers definitely bringing a bit of spice into this, so I like it. They present themselves really well in this first game, at least
they are.
Up to this point.
And Arcaner sitting in the bush on the side. Shrimpy grabs the beacon, trying to maybe bait somebody into coming into the fight, where Arcaner can land a drag here, especially with that Feeding Frenzy at level 7, being able to work this in quick against a Malthael. The spread out continues between our teams as Shrimpy runs to the top. He finds a Lobber, puts some damage in. Lobber still has his jump available. Can he get out? Yes, he does.
Yeah, Shrimpy. Again, Shrimpy needs to be careful here. It's not only DAB that now with Calamity on 7 puts on more pressure onto Tracer, but it's also, of course, Greymane. So that is really one of the things where Shrimpy is going to have a bit of a rough time there. After level 10, we should see go for the throw being used. And once that's in, then of course Tracer has a priority target for sure. 82% on the beacon against 38, and the team that plays around the camps thus far has been the Leftovers, but now Method is attempting to steal one away on the left side.
Yep, this is an adaptation from Method. They've started to realize that Leftovers is just staying in lane, which allows for them to move in for these Hellbats, because Leftovers isn't rotating anybody down. Mouthfield to play safe.
Most important thing is, Nubarak was anchoring this the entire time. He was always sitting there waiting to see if someone would rotate in. So it's not Method just blindly trying to take the camp and making a huge risk here. Nubarak always made sure that if someone moves in, they know it early on.
10 hits. Leftovers has a Nubarak caught in a root. Lauber takes position here on the north side, controls that beacon, while Greymane seeps his way down to the south, wanting to fight against Ahaka and thinking about getting the beacon. But Method, they're possibly contesting here. They need Greymane to come back, and he is.
Lauber might have made a bit of a mistake there, but the 10 is there, and thanks to Avatar, we see Lauber survive. Muradin is still in play. Down to the bot lane. Podibos going up against Arcana. The fight's still strong here, and we have now Shrimpy starting to move in as well. Isolation is already in. Blake Kidney starting to go in, trying to get the kill. Podibos survives, actually, because Shrimpy just got a bit too afraid. Didn't really know if Greymane was alone in this case, or if maybe another Stormbolt could home in any second. So he plays it safe, moves back, thinks he already has the kill, but Malthael moves out.
Yeah, he had to. Letnicki having that go for the throw, Tracer could have been destroyed there, so he just went for the last parting gip and hoped that it connected. It just did not.
Yeah, it's also if there's someone else coming through the vents and all of a sudden a Stormbolt hits, then you are basically down. So that was a good move by Shrimpy, but of course a bit unfortunate here. Lauber again doesn't have his ult ready. Does he have the jump? He doesn't. The silence comes a bit too late as the Twilight Dream is being used, and now DAB is being attacked here. Nice done by Athero. Tries to follow it up with a kill, and he gets it. Double kill, triple kill, as Method is turning up the heat, and the Leftovers lose 3, but they take the wave.
They get the wave. Good play by Curson there, dropping down the sound barrier and making sure that the go for throw did not kill Tracer. Method getting the few kills will allow for them to rotate to the top and clean up, and they're not too worried. Between the Gul'dan being able to drop down the Fell Flames and a Nubarak holding back those Zerg waves, they should be able to clear this up pretty well without taking too much to the fort.
Yeah, so far they're doing a great job defending against this. For the Leftovers, it was of course a bit of a consolation prize that they at least got the objective. If they lose the 3 heroes and Method is able to claim the 2 beacons too, then that would have been even worse. It's of course a bit unfortunate for them that they don't get more out of the Zerg wave, but again, could have been worse. And they're still very, very even with Method. So pretty cool back and forth game right now. Method showing some teeth and some aggression as they get the triple kill, but outside of that, Method... Leftovers definitely showing that they're here to fight.
That they are, and they are looking for more fights. They rotate in, wanting to invade on the Hellbats here. They get in there. Horrify comes out. Greymane will be the target. He is feared, but still alive. Getting lower and lower, though. Eventually, Greymane gets taken out, but Podibus, he moves in with the Tormented Souls. Yeah,
they try to get the counter kill against Nick, and they actually get it. Curson is also low. The Cocoon in the backline was fantastic. The camp is stolen away. So when all is said and done, it's actually a better trade for the Leftovers. They steal the camp and they trade a kill for a kill. The Haka is still at the bot lane, so again, they need to be careful that they are able to make sure they don't lose too much experience. So they need to rotate someone down before the wave is pushed in. But Leftovers, apparently, when they were talking about the games, were saying, okay, guys, let's just force fights. Let's go and fight. Let's make sure that we're not getting out-rotated, and let's we force battles whenever we can.
And this is helpful for them on this 2-lane map, too. There's less for them to consider. Does this become an issue later on in the series when it becomes a 3-lane map? I don't really care, because I'm happy to see Leftovers doing well in the match, so let's keep an eye on that. But something to consider as we move forward into different battlegrounds.
Yeah, 13 talents are ready for Method. They should be available to Leftovers in a few seconds as they now take down the bot lane minions and start to push this in against the fort. And this is actually a lot of aggression that they're showing here. Lauber's dancing around the point, and at this moment, Method needs to be a little bit weary at least and say, like, okay, if there's someone dancing around as we are taking a camp, they've already showed that they want to be aggressive, so there's a chance they're going to jump in. But as they don't have 13, the Leftovers wait at least for now. So we still have Tracer between the lanes. Greymane is actually on the camp to the top left, so there's 2 of them. There is a bit of a chance. Nah, both of them still on full HP. There's no way that Shrimpy or anyone else is going to jump in on it.
Shrimpy does come in and pinch Lauber. Gets a little bit of a damage in, trying to finish out that Pulse Bomb, which I believe is available now. With the Quantum Spike, he'll be able to blow up that Murden if he does get out of position again. And now it's all about rotating. How do you set up for the beacons? For now, Method does set up on the top side. They recognize that the camp pushing in, the hard camp, will be a bit difficult for them. So they're going to go ahead and clear that out with Nick. But they bring 3 over while Gul'dan clears, and they take a Malthael out.
Method has been aggressive the entire time. The counter-aggression at the bottom of the map now, claiming the fort with the help of the minion wave. But can they still fight for the beacon here? It's a 4 versus 4. Gul'dan is on his way. Still a wave at the top. Now we have the cocoon being dropped, and thanks to the cocoon being used, Murden falls. Well played here. Method with great teamfight coordination. And now also finds himself in control of both of the beacons. Horrify comes in, and Greymane goes down.
Nick just finding the prime opportunity to land that Horrify, taking Greymane along the line of that wall. He had nowhere to go. 2 pickups and Method's beacon progress continues to climb. 70% here, continuing to move up. They even have the opportunity, if they would like to be a bit aggressive, to look at the boss, but deciding not to. We're going to play it safe here. We know people are up pretty darn soon. Let's just get our lanes pushing and join the Zerg wave.
Yeah, Method is starting to gain a lot of momentum here. 100% wave is really strong against the few that leftovers got here. So there's a massive, massive difference, of course. So dehaka has an easy time defending the bottom, and then he can move to the top where he can push with the full force of the Zerg. Right now, they are also homing in on 16, and that's actually something where dehaka can deliver the extra talent, just staying a bit longer at the bot lane before joining up with the rest of the team. If he does that at all, since he has a very good shot at taking the fort down at the bottom of the map. And right now, the leftovers are just desperately trying to make sure they're not losing a keep here.
Will they lose a keep? Method 16 to 14. You have Tracer that can come on in. They have to be careful with their defense here. The Guardians in the back starting to siege on that keep, poking it where they can with Gul'dan. And Method plays it safe. They back up, get some free damage here. They realize, okay, we have a dehaka in the bottom lane that's getting a fort for absolutely free in a minion wave. Let's join up with him.
Yeah, so they're going to the bot lane instead, but they could have been a bit more aggressive. If Arcana moves in with them and they get just 1 kill, they have Cocoon ready. They had a lot of their cooldowns just available so that they could have used another Horrify Cocoon and use that, maybe follow it up with an Isolation. But the defense is there, 2-level lead now for Method, looking very solid. Potipos just slowing the lane down a little bit, doing a very good job, just staying as far in as they can. The Kidney a little bit far out already, not even a lot, but immediately he gets attacked here. Method is pushing very far forward and postures around to try and trap them here.
Small little maneuver you can learn for your games as well. If you're waiting to get some experience, you're behind your opponent, or you have something that's respawning that may have just gotten picked up. If you don't kill off the Zerg wave, if you leave up a Guardian and allow it to be cleared up by minions, until that last remnants of the Zerg wave gets cleaned up, the mercenary camps can't spawn on the map. That means the Hellbats, the boss, even the Bruiser camp. So if you just wait a little bit longer and buy yourself some time, you can get some experience. And Leftovers got half a level just by waiting to clean up that Zerg wave.
Yeah, very safely too. So now they are just waiting there. They are the idea behind it is the longer if you're that far behind, the longer you wait it out, the better your chances are to hit level 16 around the next beacon phase.
Yep.
And they know very well that they can't contest the boss here. So Method does the best thing they can do. They go for the boss, they start pushing with it, and they might even try and look for a kill and then get a bit more out of it. But with Li Ming now getting experience at the bot lane, with the top lane being anchored by Lauba, who now is able to move out here, there's a good chance that level 16 will just be ready in time for the leftovers so that they can use it for defense.
Yeah, they can at least open the keep wall, though. Method would love to do that. If they get this keep wall opened up, if they win the Zerg wave, they'll be able to move in for the keep. This Zerg wave should be spawning on the bottom side. So Method dances around a little bit. They allow dehaka to push in the top, and all they're going to do here is contest and poke a little bit.
Yeah, so the poke war already started, and dehaka is doing his thing at the top lane. Getting them closer and closer to 20. Shouldn't be ready for the next objective, for the next beacon, but of course, just helping them in the long run. For now, down here, a bit of poke happening, but the wave gear aspect is really much stronger for Method, so they are burning these waves down easily. Here comes the Horrify. They're trying to go for Lauba, and they get it. Murden gets blown up, and that is bad news for the leftovers, as Method is starting to move in with the boss. dehaka now joining the fray as well, and they take down the keep just as the beacons activate on the map. 16 not quite yet ready for leftovers, as we already see Method homing in on those beacons and trying to make sure that they get another objective.
You know you're having a bad time when Caldor says Murden gets blown up. That is a tanky dwarf that is being dismantled by Method. Horrify into a pulse bomb, blown up before he can even move.
Yeah, and I mean, let's talk a bit about the damage output here. Again, Tracer, Shrimpy with 34,000 damage pushed out already. Gul'dan, Nick with 28k, so both of them looking very strong here, where the top damage dealer on the leftover side is currently sitting at 23,000. It's Blackidney on Greymane. So all three of the damage dealers that we are seeing on the side of Team Leftovers are far, far behind of what Method can currently bring to the table. And just shows once again how dangerous Shrimpy in that backline is.
Leftovers has a couple of options here. They can go force a fight, or they can go clear that bottom wave, and they've decided to come in for a fight. They take away the Hellbats, which would be helpful for them. Gets a little bit of pressure on that top side. But Shrimpy is able to move over and grab the beacon, knowing that 5 of them were grouped up in the middle of the map. Should be able to grab a few percent. Leftovers, however, run straight to the south, and they're ping-ponging around the map, trying to keep Method at bay, but also trying to stay in the game.
They have to win the fight, though. That's the main problem, because at some point soon, Method is going to hit 20. They're on level 19 now, and you have to take a fight and win it clean. And then hopefully with the objective, gain some momentum that gives you structures, that gives you experience, so that you can fight again. Right now, Leftovers just don't have all of that. So they need to try and somehow flip the switch, maybe with Lauber moving in and getting a Stormball that is followed up by Mithrian Roots. Their problem, of course, is, as we just saw, that their bot lane is constantly pressuring against them. It's one of the reasons they take the camp here. This will alleviate some of the pressure towards the bottom of the map.
But that's cleanable here for Method if they want to move in. Method actually set up a trap on the top with Dahaka floating around and Tracer as well. If anyone peels off to deal with the Dahaka or that wave, Tracer can go in for the kill. Method plays safe with their core of 3. A Thorough sees Greymane coming in, gets a little bit of harassment, but able to get on out as Curson comes to save it. But look at Tracer. Tracer's flanking around.
They shouldn't fight. I mean, Method is dodging these fights right now, and they are really happy to just stay passive as long as they don't lose the objective control at the top. They have Dahaka, which works in their favor. The worst thing that Method can do right now is fight. All they need to do is run around them, use your global. They're hiding Dahaka now at the top, so they're playing with vision. Dahaka can always move to the bot lane. Shrimpy's already reclaiming the beacon as Blackidney takes the one to the top. All that Method has to do is stall this out. Then you hit 20, and then you fight. They know that Leftovers are the ones that have to force a fight. So if there's a good opportunity, try and take a kill. But if not, just don't fight. Don't commit anything.
Arcana to stop top too. Leftovers makes an aggressive play to move in for the south side.
And now Blackidney is going to be in trouble if he stays here for too long.
Drag. Isolation. Can it land here? No, they're not going to go for it, but Shrimpy gets a little bit of harassment here. We'll have to back up. He needs a few heals.
Yeah, Horrify is being used now as well. Blackidney is already in trouble. He goes down. Sound Barrier is used. And the isolation hits Malthael. The drag connects as well. And Arcana is able to deliver together with Gul'dan. Kill number 2. They go for Lauber. He himself just blown up. A triple kill once more for Method. They hit level 20. It's 12 kills against 3. And now, of course, they can take the double beacons. They can move to the bot lane. Fantastic spot here. And it all started because Method played it super safe. They took no fight. They said the entire time, we're not fighting. We're waiting for 20. Leftovers rotated. Only Greymane to the top. Greymane found himself in a fight with Dahaka and then gets so much damage pushed on him. And even when it turns into a 5 versus 5 battle, Method knows, well, Greymane is already in half HP. We're easily going to get a kill. Now we have the perfect position for the fight. And at that point, it's simply Horrify coming in, Isolation coming out, Cocoon being used, and then Method takes the battle. And now, of course, they're reaping the rewards.
They're going to get another kill, too. DAB was flirting with the idea of stopping the beacons, and him not being able to back cost Leftovers another kill here. Only 4 set up for defense, with the boss pushing in the top and a Zerg wave to the south. Method is making maneuvers here to push straight for a core and get a victory. Can Leftovers hold?
I highly doubt it. Even if they can, it would mean that they lose both keeps. But that would be a miracle defense considering that they are up against the Storm Talent advantage with 17 to 20. And now they lost Mirrodin again. So we are looking at only 3 heroes that can defend. The Catapults and the Zerg Wave are already on the core. And Team Method is about to win the first game on Braxis Holdout in HGC.
Leftovers goes to an unorthodox